And I want to say the mushroom grows some alpine region. I can't remember exactly where it is, but they've been doing research on it, and they think that its organism that this mushroom is responsible for like landscaping the landscape, the terrain in our alpine regions, to where you have meadows coming right up to trees, and if that mushroom, it's almost like a mini colony of very, very smart organisms, and they have built a colony to where they can decide within a couple years to where water growth and where things are happening and evolving, to where it can take out trees, a row of trees, or start working landscape to kill trees, decompose trees, and make it into a meadow. It's insane. This mushroom that they've found it's insanity what it's doing. And what they're saying that it's edible. It's actually a good edible mushroom.
Which I guarantee people were using that mushroom long time ago.
Imagine
Native American time.
Think about, though, if they start doing a little bit more research on this and they find out that this mushroom is responsible for the whole landscape of everything.
It's just all fungi.
Yeah.
Basically what you're saying.
That this fungi has shaped our forests and our jungles.
That's crazy.
Yeah. Because the way that these mushrooms work, and most mushrooms, is they have a small layer of skin, you want to call it, and then they have, all of us know, if you break open a mushroom, it's pretty much skin and then some kind of
thousands of mushroom spores.
Yeah, some kind of
stuck together
thing. It's a material in there. And it's very consistent, and what is going on inside a mushroom is a mushroom is good. Fungi is good. A lot of people think fungi is like mold, but it's actually a good thing. It comes into a place and it absorbs all the good and it fights off all the bad. There's constantly fights going on inside mushrooms, but most of the time they're always winning. Mushrooms are incredible at fighting off bacteria and diseases, and that's why they're fungi. That's why they grow anywhere. That's why they are in everything.
In your fridge.
Yeah, they can grow without sunlight, without water.
They grow in the cold.
It's insanity.
They grow in the cold. It grows way better than the room.
I guess it has to have water, but
it has to have some kind of consistency to start it. Usually, most everything contains water.
Yep.
So, everything water based.
Do you think that humans evolved from apes?
I mean, there's obviously a connection between us two, because they're the closest animal on this planet to us.
Yes, I agree.
And
they are pretty
They have other features. They can walk. Some of them, they learn sign language.
Yep.
They communicate as a whole entire group. They have alphas in their packs. Just like households.
Yep.
They create communities. Just among each other, and they look out for each other.
Yep.
As a whole, and usually, a giant ass gorilla will get your ass.
Hey. Only reason I ask is because there's a theory that says that it's called the stoned ape hypothesis. It says we evolved from our ancestors traveling across large places to get to new places where things would potentially be better and there'd be more food and water and things. And along the way, they were hungry. There was a big luscious mushroom right there. So they picked it, shared it with their tribe, and they indulged in one of the most memorable, crazy experiences as a group together. And that's what kind of led to our knowledge in physics. Some people say it's contradictual. But I feel like there is possibly it's possible. It's absolutely possible. What do you think?
Yeah, for sure, it could be possible.
You think we evolved from what we ate?
It's weird though, because on the other hand, I feel like that we were placed here to evolve, because we're different from everything else. Completely.
I agree with that.
So it's kind of like there's two different ways you can look at it, and I kind of feel like more on the hand of we were placed here for one purpose, which I feel like some people that get down to do a lot of meditating, they can slowly find their purpose here, and it takes a lot of practice to get there and other stuff. But it could be possible. Yes, I'm not going to deny it because I don't know.
Yeah,
no one knows for sure. Yeah. So it does provide like anything with like a learning curve, if you want to call it.
I feel like anybody who's ever done mushrooms with people they care about
have definitely took in at least two things from that night forever.
Oh man. And just the way you look at everything around you is so, you look at a tree walking down the street and you think it's beautiful because it's moving in the wind and the leaves have never looked so cool before. And just this past summer, we did some up in the mountains on a camping trip. And you look at the mountains and the lake and your buddies in such a different way. You enjoy everything so much more. It could put someone that's having a down week or a down month right back in a good mood. I've also had those trips where it's like everything you see looks like science. Like you look up in the sky and it looks like a kaleidoscope with like shapes and.
Oh yeah, dude, everything's moving.
Yeah, it's
crazy. I swear, first time I ever took LSD, I was in Greeley and I just threw up out of my buddy's car.
Yes.
And I started looking up at the clouds. And my trip kicked in really hard at that moment, and I swear I could see clouds forming.
That's awesome.
Yeah, like you could see them slowly bigger and bigger, but they could not have been. They could have just been me tripping balls.
No, there was this one camping trip a couple years ago. Started my trip throwing around the football and stuff.
The only thing bad about that
man, it was crazy.
Like, you don't know how hard it's coming in.
Exactly.
Like your hands are like numb, and it's like you wake up. Like I kind of like how your hands feel is like when you wake up from a really long sleep and half the night you laid on one of your hands.
No, yeah, all your limbs feel like
numb and
just
gel,
like noodles.
So when you have to go like this and like catch something that's
or throw it,
man, it's like throwing left-handed if you're right.
It's ridiculous.
And
it is one of the
it's hilarious.
Crazier things. That same trip, I had my hammock set up, and my hammock is like the parachute material. Oh man, everyone at the campsite was just loving that hammock. Like I would get in it with my wife, and then like before we were ready to get out, there was someone like standing there with their girlfriend or their wife, like, "Hey, I want to try it. I want to get in," because it was so awesome.
Yo, I call that hammock for the night.
Don't the fire. Everyone sitting around the fire was just mesmerized by it. it.
Like,
Like,
dude,
there was
see,
no conversation
the best-
going on at the fire.
I kind of figured that one of the best things to do for when you're tripping around a fire is find a log that has a hole in the middle all the way down, and just hack off like a slit in it to where you can see into the middle, and just throw that right in the middle of the fire and let it build up and look at it there. It's like looking through a little window, like it's a tiny little fireplace.
That is awesome.
Yeah, and that looks cool that way.
So, I think that everybody out there needs to try that at least one time. I think it humbles you. I've never done DMT, and people say crazy things about DMT.
You heard green trees red and the sky purple. I heard one of my buddies talk about it one day. He was up in the mountains, up in Johnny Park, on the side of this cliff where he lived in a camper down there. And he would just go up there with a shotgun and shoot squirrels and shit and smoke a little DMT and fucking look at the trees. And he said one day I looked down and there's this like cliff that goes down like 2,000 feet, and all the trees would. He said all the trees, the whole entire landscape turned red and the sky turned purple.
That'd be insane.
And it usually doesn't last for long. DMT lasts for maximum probably like 25 minutes.
Yeah.
Say maximum. And that's if you smoke a lot. You'd have to like pack a full ball of it and just like.
So, what do you think about the myths and stuff that go along with mushrooms?
Like it being
all about mushrooms are poisonous for you, like you said earlier, and how they can kill you, and well, you can overdose on it, or like permafry, or what they call it.
Yeah, permafry. I feel like if you, we'll just go into one part of what you said for the moment. If you take enough mushrooms to permafry yourself, you are done for taking that many mushrooms. You shouldn't be taking.
You think you can do it on mushrooms though?
It would take, I feel like an ounce and a half.
I feel like it would take LSD or something stronger.
Yeah, well, LSD is easy. You could go into a room where they're making it, and you could absorb so much through your skin that it could permafry you.
Yeah, I mean, we've all heard the story of the guy. I don't know if it's true. But I've heard this from multiple people. The guy that drank a half gallon or a gallon of LSD.
Whoa.
He thought it was water and started drinking it. Got like halfway through the jug before he realized it wasn't water.
He would die.
He's permafried. He's in a mental institute. He's a vegetable.
He probably just, I would have just like.
He's a vegetable. I mean, even if you threw it all up.
The contact already would just
Yeah.
be a ton.
Yeah.
That many straight hits, because that's, I bet it was concentrated. If it's in a gallon jug, normal people don't have LSD sitting around in a gallon jug.
But this was back in like the 60s, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah, but LSD was supposedly stronger then.
Yeah. I mean, the permafry thing, I think.
I mean, depending on the dosage.
I don't think you could do it on mushrooms.
Because
I think if
I
you
don't
sat
know
there
that point.
and just ate and ate and ate, you would start tripping so hard that you wouldn't be
coherent enough
you wouldn't
to eat anymore.
You wouldn't be focused enough to eat anymore. You'd be off in La La Land wanting to do other things. You wouldn't want to keep eating your mushrooms. I mean, if anyone was able to do that, I think it would just take time for you to come down.
Yeah, because mushrooms, the typical trip duration for mushrooms is like from anywhere between 4 and like 8 hours. I've had like 9 hours, but I did a little over.
Yeah, I've had like an 8 to 10 hour trip too,
Yeah.
but it was like
I did like
way more than was
4.5
needed.
grams.
Way more than was needed.
Yeah, and the typical dose is like 1.5 to 2.5. They say.